But why did he want to do this, and why did he want to do this in 2016? No, before?
Something happened in 2000, I think, 15, 14, 15, 16. Something was going on which I have no access to, but there's something was going on. Because he was still an active general.
He was still an active general?
Yeah, as far as I know, yes. He was but he's always been active. If somebody was to understand what he's like, he would be like a lobbyist. I would say he was one of the best lobbyists in Romania. He's able to arrange things, okay? He told me once, that guy needs something, that guy needs something that he has, and this guy has something that he has, and all I do is put them together.
So more like a middleman, not like a lobbyist, lobbying, doing with his network afterwards.
Look, I'm going to be straightforward. He was when I met him in 1996, he was the boss of a company or an operation in Romania, but he was an investor. He wasn't a CEO he wasn't running the business. The business was run by London. This was just the staff, and all the salaries were paid from London.
So he was just administrative.
He was administrative, okay? And then, big house that he built, the watches that he wears. He's very materialistic. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but that's his character.
So 2014,
2015, something changed. He became much more assertive, much more aggressive, much more forceful. In 2016, when all of this was going on, after it happened, in 2017, he threatened that my salary would be reduced by 50%.
So going for you personally?
Going for me personally, yes.
2014 also coincides with the push of Bogdan Dragoi, his son, to see. Do you think that it's part of the same something that happened?
Has to be. It has to be.
How is Bogdan Dragoi? You also know.
Bogdan was a great guy. He was one of my closest friends.
Great for, you'll take him to a party, or great guy in general?
A great guy in general, nice guy. If we went on holidays together, I with my wife, him with his girlfriends at the time, we were good friends. And such that when he moved to London to work, he stayed in my apartment to begin with. Of course, I'm older than him, so my lifestyle was a bit different. I was traveling a lot for my company. So he eventually, after about 3 months, moved out of my apartment, moved in with some young people he'd met, which is normal, because otherwise he'd be living in my apartment by himself most of the time, because I was traveling a lot for the company. So, and then of course, we got involved in the acquisition of a major company in Germany. When Bogdan came to Germany as well with my UK company, so he was there as well, getting experience. We were friends, we were together. Coming back to Romania, we'd see each other, we were good friends. Until in 2015, something happened. And Bogdan was never with me and Bogdan Dragoi. Something happened. And Bogdan Dragoi changed a lot.
But do you think that he lives in the shadow of his father?
Dan micromanages Bogdan, always has, yes. From secretary, how do you become Secretary of State in a government, and then become Minister of Finance, and then become Presidential Counselor to Băsescu, and then become CEO of SIF. I always wanted Bogdan to go overseas and cut his own teeth overseas. Yeah? But the Bogdan Dragoi that I knew then is not the Bogdan Dragoi that I know now.
So do you think that Dan Dragoi it still micromanages his son as a CEO of SIF?
Oh, yes. What? Dan Dragoi's big problem with me at the moment, and from my interpretation of things, he is so angry with me because I didn't accept what he did. You see, I don't have that volcanic mentality. People say you don't have the volcanic mentality. People have said to me, and more than one person, what he was expecting you to do was to shut up, to accept it. You hold still 50% of your shareholding, and you'll still keep your salary, 100% of it, and you'll get a car from COMVEX, and you'll have a good lifestyle. That sense is a person that thinks only about money, okay? I have 4 children, and I had, not mapped out, but I had an idea for them. University, overseas, schooling. My father gave me the privilege of going to private schools and then to a good university. I want that privilege to extend to my children. My father was a truck driver. He brought me from here to here. And I want to bring my children from here to here. Everything I worked for, I wasn't born rich, so I have simple tastes. I like nice things, but there's a limit. I should have accepted the fact that although he stole 50% of my shareholding, I'd still continue to have a nice lifestyle. People say that other people would have accepted it. I couldn't accept it because it would degrade my dignity, and I have to face my children. To say to them one day is that, yes, I accepted the fact that somebody stole from me and I did nothing about it. So something that I worked for should have been yours. Somebody else took it and I never did anything about it. And long term, I think that would affect me greatly. From my culture, my upbringing, my values. And so I fought, and I keep fighting. I've lost, and I've lost, and I've lost, and I have no support. You know, the ANAF, the ASFE, the Senate committee, the courts. In those days, it was just a complete emotional wreckage of having the rights. Them sacking me, I took them to court. I lost.
But Dan Dragoi should have known you very well. She should have known, or should anticipate that you will fight for your right.
He didn't think that I would. I don't think that he understood. I don't think that he really knew me.
Or he didn't really care that he didn't, because he has connection.
He had a lot of power, yes. And he has more power now. Yes, he doesn't care. He doesn't care.
And it's correct to assume now that if Dan Dragoi, who stole a company, you mentioned now that he wants to sell COMVEX to a Russian company, and I'll get back to this. It's micromanaging a whole amount of companies through SIFs by having his son there.
I think the same thing will happen. SIF today, I think, has accumulated about 30% of 3 SIFs.
Right.
Okay.
They are controlling 2 other SIFs.
Correct. They will reach a point, and they also have 15% of the stock market. They'll reach a point where that package will be sold. They will be on the board, they will sell that package, and that's where they cash in their money. That package will be bought, so somebody, where there's a big payoff. That's what I think is the end game. Same as in COMVEX. The end game is he doesn't want to be a port operator. He doesn't want to keep this company. He's 70 years old. You know, Bogdan Dragoi is not going to run COMVEX. He doesn't care. He's got the SIFs. So the exit strategy is sell it to one of the big companies that's interested. The price they're talking about is 350 million at the moment. They've got 35% of that. That's not bad. That's a good payout.
So the SIF's business might be the next level bigger than what they trained in COMVEX?
I think COMVEX, look at the similarities. COMVEX hasn't issued any dividends until last month. They made a decision 28th of April, they made a decision to pay out dividends. SIFs, after 7 years, same date.
28th of April?
Have a look. They decide to pay out dividends. There's something going on. Yes. And I think it's a... Don't forget, Bogdan Dragoi was present on the 16th of December and the 15th of December. He was there. My friend was there. They were stealing the shares from me, and he never said anything to me. And I still considered him to be my friend. And I sat down the other day and I calculated. My son is born in October 2013. I had a birthday for him when he was 3 years old. I checked this with my wife. Bogdan was at my home in October 2016 with his son and his wife, with some other friends we had. I'd arranged a lunch at my home. He was there. So when he was in my home, he knew what they were doing. He knew. Never told me.
Correct. Can you evaluate, if you want, how much Dragoi family, through Dan Dragoi, through the others, through their wives, stole from you?
Well, let's say that I had 10% of the company. 35 million. If you sell the company for 350 mil, 35 million is mine. They took half. I now have 4.9% indirectly ownership of COMVEX. So half they've taken.
It's not like they were not having money, stealing for a living.
Dan, I think, is a person who is very much obsessed with money. You know, we would be in a restaurant in London, for example, Scalini, and we would be, my wife, his wife, myself, sitting there eating, and he would go, "Oh, look at that woman. She's all dressed in Loro Piana, or she's all Chanel, do you know?" And I'm going, "Dan, who cares?" But Dan was very much.
You've been in a lot of places together. Which European capital seems more familiar to Dan Dragoi? Vienna.
Vienna, he knows backwards.
Not London, not Paris, he knows backwards.
Vienna, he knows backwards. He took me to the place in Vienna. I didn't even know that. He knows Vienna backwards. Yeah.
That's an interesting issue. And now I want to go back to what you said, that there are rumors that he wants to sell COMVEX to some Russian-tied companies.
Yes, I don't think that he's going to sell anything to any Russian company at the moment with all the sanctions now. But he was discussing with a Russian company, yes.
For the war in Ukraine.
I don't know, and I'm going to put myself out on a limb here, so it's only speculative. Because I don't know, and I can't ask anybody, for obvious reasons. Because they're not going to talk to me. But if you think Dan Dragoi is 70 years old now, back then, when he was 30 years old, okay?
And very different guy.
Very different guy. And he was part of the security system, Securitate, of Romania, okay? Under Ceausescu's regime, who trained them.
But how do you think that Romania, a NATO country, a strategic partner, today, still has Mr. Dan Dragoi in the position to do what he does?
Because these people now are in positions of power all over the place. They've accumulated vast wealths. Yeah, these are the new formations of the oligarchs of Romania. This is what you have coming up.
So Dan Dragoi seems like an oligarch to you?
Well, he doesn't have yachts, you know. But he has a lot of money and he's very discreet. You won't see him spending that money in Bucharest. You'll see him spending it overseas.
But these kind of guys, do they have a life other than watching Louis Vuitton and Chanel and...
I guess, you know, it depends on the person, I think. You know, depends on your culture also. I mean, you know, I didn't go through communism, so I come from a different place and I have a different mentality of things.
You didn't want to become Balkani?
Yeah, it's completely different. You know, I don't wear fancy watches, you know, though I must admit I did. Dan got me into this, and I'm out I refuse because it's just, when I was at university in Australia, a Chinese guy told me once, a monkey in silk is a monkey no less. Doesn't matter what watch you wear, it doesn't matter what suit you have, it doesn't matter, it depends on you, on your quality. Dan doesn't have any. Money is very important for Dan. Money is very important. Money is very important. I mean, let's be honest. Let's have a look at the facts. I have one court case at the moment where we were in court. I filed it in 2019. I'm on my third judge. The first judge, after 4 months, retired. The second judge came in, and there was a huge battle in court by Dan Dragoi. I'm suing Dan Dragoi, Viral Panait, Anka Dragoi, Ruxandra Nicola, and COMVEX, right? Whole group. I filed the court case in Bucharest, but Bucharest sent me to Constanța. So, and I don't have any problems with that, okay, provided everything is done properly. Now, the first judge was a very competent judge. I could see because she controlled the court, didn't take too much rubbish from the other side, and she had read the file. She had read the file. And bang, 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 we went on for, I think, I don't know how long we went on for, because it's now, from 19, it's 3 years. I still haven't been able to give evidence.
So you are in the incipient part of the file.
I am. She then made a decision because they were trying to nullify the action. And it was a different action to the one that I brought against the shareholders meeting. This is against the subscription, and it's insider trading. She made an order for the court case to go ahead. Huge commotion. Anyway, we turn up to court, and they have filed a petition to dismiss the judge.
The Dragoi group, the group.
Uh-huh. Dragoi et al., let's say.
Their judge.
So what happens is that the application for dismissal then goes to another section of the judges where one judge independently assesses whether there is merit in dismissal or not. The judge decided there is no merit. She comes back to court. Oh no, we were going back to court. We find out that she has dismissed herself. She's filed an application for self-dismissal. And I have the application. In the application, she says, they have filed a complaint against me to Schema, the Superior Council of Magistrates, right? The judge's institution. This is a personal attack on me. Now, how can I adjudicate this case if this is a personal attack on me? In one sense, she's right. In another sense, I think that she should have stayed, but it was her decision, and it's valid. So she removed. We have a new judge. This new judge, the day before we go to court, we find out she's put in an application for self-dismissal. Her application is on the grounds that one of the lawyers acting for one of the defendants, she knows the husband. And that was, she didn't want any problems. The independent judge said, there is no reason for you to be dismissed. Go ahead. So she's been our judge. We've, for a year, the defense, Dragoi et al., has been trying to get the judge, trying to convince the judge to revoke the order that the last judge did in having the case go forward. The judge has told them, I cannot. It's a point of appeal. You appeal, but the case goes forward. There's an application to dismiss the judge. This one. However, it gets worse now. In this application to dismiss the judge, they wrote in it, we have taken criminal charges against you. I mean, that's just intimidation as far as I'm concerned. I'm sorry. That's intimidation. That is just, and I don't understand how the judiciary allows it. It's certainly not proper. The independent judge, again, says there is no merits to dismissal, go ahead. So now we know that the judge has got a criminal complaint against her by these people. Whether there's any merit to the criminal complaint, it's irrelevant. The fact of the matter is, this is a form of intimidation. So, we turned up to court last month. We have 6 witnesses, 4 of them, 2 on my side, myself and another person. We're in court. We're just about to start. The court case is cleared. We've been waiting for 3 hours to our turn. The judge takes everybody's present, translator's present. A girl walks in, a lawyer, screaming, She's handing out documents to everybody. The judge sits back, looks, bit of a smile on her face. My lawyer says, look, you're in the wrong court case. No, I'm not. So she comes in with his documents, representing a client of COMVEX, a tugboat operator, right, who decides now to file a petition for, in Romanian, it's interdiction, to join the court case. I filed the court case in 2019. It's 2022. What are you coming now? The judge, I can see her smiling. The lawyers are laughing, doing this to my lawyer. Judge can't do anything. She has to hear the application. So, another 2 months adjournment. We go back to court now. She has to deal with this application. So we are delayed.
Is there a way for weakening you, or are they afraid of...
They fear something else. Look, I've been through 6 years of this. If it doesn't kill you, it makes you tougher, right? I've gone past the roller coaster ride of emotions, depression. I've gone through all of that. There is something else going on. I don't know what it is.
But there is something.
They are delaying, and I'm worried because I can't work out what it is. I can't work it out.
We'll have some answer. Mr. de Rubeis, my final question is, from your experience that you extraordinarily shared with us, what's your message to the SIF's shareholder about Dragoi's family management of the SIFs, about the ASF supervision of what's happening at the city?
In my case, there was no ASF supervision, and in fact, there was, I believe, either complicity, incompetence, indifference. Okay, ASF supports Dragoi. I know that today, because I've been following, because I have an interest in this now, I've seen that ASF has been requested to answer certain things about what SIFs have done, and they haven't answered. They refuse to answer. That gives you the answer. That gives you the answer. You don't have to look further than that. What I want to say to the shareholders of SIVs, guys, wake up. Okay. And Romania as well. These are companies worth billions, not of lei, of euros. Somebody is controlling a big chunk of your system, of your economy. They can sell it from underneath your feet because today it's the share is traded at 60% discount to what its real value is. And these guys are giving themselves shares for doing nothing. You can't do this offshore. Nowhere in the world can you do this. As a CEO of a fund, if you don't perform, you're out. As a CEO of the fund, if you call a guy Iranian dirty money, I mean, you get charged. You get kicked out of the company. Not so here. I made a complaint to ASFE because out of 5 board members, one of them, Panayoti Ionescu, died 3 years ago, and COMVEX refused to appoint a new board member. And I had to complain to ASFE, and I do it on the newspaper, and ASFE then wrote a 6-page report saying, with a fine of 3,800 RON. The cost of making that report was more than 3,800 RON. That's the penalty you give to Bogdan Dragoi, the xenophobia comment that he made against one of the major shareholders. He got a fine of what, 10,000 RON to 2,500 euros. So, there is, ASFE, look at City Insurance. It was plain auditors' reports. Cayman Islands, BVI, all of these companies. Oh, come on, guys. At ASFE, what did they do? I think, Now, as I understand it, in my ASFE report against the reply to ESMA, where Mircea Osaka makes a comment about the specialized department, the guy who was running that specialized department now works for Bogdan Dragoi. And Mircea Osaka's son, I've understood, I've been told, I can't verify it, was working or is working for Bogdan Dragoi. So, my advice to the shareholders of SIF, it's hard for them because they can't sell, because they'll lose money, okay? At the moment, nobody's going to invest in it because it's obvious that there's no performance. Only the management are the ones who profiteer from this because they're giving themselves lots of shares, bonuses, for having done nothing. You have to change ASFE. You really need a regulator. You don't have a regulator. You don't.
One more question, if you allow me. As a non-Romanian, but knowing Romania very, very well, how do you explain that 32 years after the revolution, Romania is still simulating supervision, corporate management, transparency, and nobody pays? Even justice is simulating.
I think that justice has changed. I can see that in my court case, because if I started this court case in 2017, I would have been kicked out of the case by now. I think there's been a change in the judicial system. I think that a lot of the bad stuff was sent out. Okay, retires, people who didn't care. But God, I'm not saying that they were bad in a sense, corrupt or anything. I'm just saying bad that maybe old or whatever, no interest, indifferent, whatever. I believe in justice. And I want to say one other thing too before we go on, right? I believe in SRI, and I believe in CIE, and I believe in STS. These are institutions which are vital for a country, for the protection of its interests, for the protection of its citizens. I believe in these institutions. My issue is not these institutions. My issue is these people who have used their badge for their own personal gain, okay? These are the people that should be addressed. A lot of them are out now, but unfortunately they are in positions of power. They have put people in positions of power, And now they're putting their children in positions of power. Well, it's obvious what's happening. I'm a foreigner. All I need to do is just open my eyes and see it. I don't know why people are not doing anything about it. If it's complacency, if it's control, or just because something hasn't happened to Romania. I think that some things are happening now which is going to spark. I think the defense issue is going to be a big issue. The fact that there's a lot of interests coming from offshore now coming onto onshore, I think these will start to generate a lot of cleansing, right? And unfortunately, and Romania is not the only one, you have a weak government.
Could you?
It's in a nutshell. You know, I love Romania. I love its people. I think it's huge potential. Romania has a huge potential. But I see it being suppressed. I see it deliberately being put down because some people don't want you to grow. They want only certain people to grow. And that's the problem.
Some people from the inside.
People from the inside.
Mr. de Rubeis, these are all my questions. Thank you for this great interview. If you have something else to add?
Yeah, I want to add one thing, which we didn't get through, because I was jumping a little bit. There's so many things to cover.
The whole story.
Yes. When we met on the 20th of December, now remember, 19th of December 2016, I had a meeting with Captain Edu in Constanza. We had discussed things. In fact, Captain Edu must have went and saw lawyers together. And documents were prepared for the removal of Dan Dragoi as the director of SolidMet. They signed. I still have those. When we met on the 20th of December, I shook hands with Dan Dragoi that he would redistribute half of his shares to me. I would pay him 500,000 euros. It was fair. He paid 1.1, I'd pay 500, 600,000, whatever. But to be fair, I didn't expect him for free. He paid. I shook hands with him. It was agreed that redistribution of the shares would occur. The next day, which was the 21st of December, we all met in interviului, that is SolidMet's office. And Vero came with all these papers, all these documents to be signed. A lot of them had been signed. We signed them all because we had agreed that it would go forward and they would redistribute to us. Again, nothing. Having done that, having shook hands, having agreed with Captain Edu present that there would be redistributions, there was no redistribution. We had meetings with Captain Edu and Dan Dragoi in their offices. We had meetings with them. Captain Edu and Dan would go for a walk around the block, have a discussion. And then Captain Edu finally got in the car and he said, I'm sick and tired of this. Let's go straight to the lawyers. I went straight to the lawyers. He was going to take action. When I arranged the meeting overseas, I wanted to meet a lawyer, an investment banker, a businessman. These are people that I knew personally, good friends. And I wanted to bounce things off them. When I came back, I met with Captain Edu. It was the 25th of April because it's Anzac Day. Anzac Day, I remember, 25th of April. We met in his office. We walked outside, we walked on the street to talk. And he said, Ray, I can't do it. I'm sorry, I can't explain, I can't. And he gave me the file. He said, these are the files from the lawyer. You go ahead and do it. You do it. I said, okay, I will. Blackmail or a deal. The blackmail maybe is hard. Influence of some sort or a deal. Listen, Captain Edu put up 12 million euros of his money. It was his money that bought this. Dan Dragoi didn't put up a cent. Vero Panay didn't put up a cent. I didn't put up a cent. This was Captain Idu's money. For him to be diluted by 50%, and Captain Idu was a proud man, and he was a businessman. He ran businesses. He made money. Dan Dragoy never saw him run a business or the CEO of any enterprise or anything. But Captain Idu, to tell me that after having been diluted, to tell me that he can't, there's something there. Now, I couldn't ask him. There's no way he was going to answer me. But he gave me the file. We stayed in contact. Okay? He gave me the file and I took the proceedings. That is, I remember, as vivid as it was yesterday. I saw his face. Something. I don't know what the answer is.
So the people with his own money, he couldn't protect his interest against Dan Dragoy. Very interesting.
Right. Yes. Very interesting. But right now, I haven't told you one of the most important pieces of this whole thing. Of course, as time goes on, we are able to see and be able to look at and investigate certain things. You recall I said that Anka Dragoy, that Ruxandra Nicola bought her shares on the 16th of September? Anka Dragoy bought her shares, 40 shares on the 9th of September. When we were in court end of last year, we made an application to the judge for, you call it in Romanian prove, for proof, evidence to be produced, yes? One of the things that we requested was any voice recordings involving the purchase of the shares, because the purchase was done with Raiffeisen Bank, if there was any recordings. You know, we didn't expect much, but lo and behold, in November last year, Raiffeisen Bank produces a CD. And on that CD is the voice recordings of the purchase of the respective 40 shares of Anka Dragoy and Ruxandra Nicola first and Anka Dragoy second. Now, Raiffeisen Bank has produced this. They're alleging privacy, confidentiality, all of this. Now, just a footnote. I wrote a letter to Raiffeisen Bank in April of 2017 telling them
To ask for this.
to tell them, look, I've never seen the loan agreement. I haven't seen the loan agreement. I don't know anything what's going on here. There's something funny. No answer. Okay? Never heard anything. Now, this CD is sitting in the court file from November. DCOT closes the court case in November. I filed the court order. DCOT issued a prosecutor's order in November of 2021, I think it was 27th November, where the prosecutor made an order closing the file, saying there's no evidence, there's nothing, it's all, but quoting a lot of the ASFR report. So the ASFR report is the base. In that order, the prosecutor says, we have statements from Ruxandra Nicola. Now, Ruxandra Nicola says, I'm going to paraphrase it, not word for word, I'm an expert in capital markets from 2006 to 2007, and my job forces me to see the capital markets, and I saw the notification that there was a capital increase in the board of BVB, and so therefore I decided to buy 40 shares and through my representative. So I bought 40 shares from Raiffeisen Bank through my representative. Anka Dragoy said, my son is in the capital markets, and he told me to buy shares in COMVEX. Okay. In the report of DCOT, Vero Panait says, because we're alleging that Vero Panait sold his shares to his wife, we found some documents. how can, and in newspaper articles, he says, how can Mr. Raymond de Rubeis claim there is involved an algorithm? A party cannot buy and sell to another party because it's a market, and so you can't match. And how can Mr. Raymond de Rubeis say that I sold shares to my wife, that there is a criminal complicity here going on? Now this is quoted everywhere. It's in the court case, it's in the DCOT, it's in newspapers that he has. It has been quoted in articles that he's paid for. We get the CD. Now, after 6 years, the CD of the purchase of Ruxandra Nicolai's 40 shares, the voice is not that of a woman, it's Viral Panait. Viral Panait calls the broker for Raiffeisen and says, I want to sell 40 of my shares to my wife. The broker says you can't do that because there's shares on the market at the moment. What we can do, you can sell your wife 13 shares at this price, and your wife can buy, the difference at this other price. Oh, very good, excellent, good idea. And then at the very end, he says, and by the way, I will call you on Monday to materialize something else. So this recording is 16th of September 2016, where Ruxandra Nicolai in the DCOT order says that she bought the shares through a representative. It doesn't say I thought representative was broker. But no, it's fact she didn't buy it. Vera Benign did the transaction. He sold and bought for her.
You see?
Mrs. Dragoi, the voice recording, the broker says, and so, look, I was just talking to you. This is how it starts. And so, look, I was just talking to you. It's cut out. And you've set up an account just now to buy the COMVEX shares. And, okay, look, I'll call you back in 1 minute to 6. End of conversation. She says, yes, I want to buy 40 shares of COMVEX. That's the recording.
Da, vă rog.
Vă salut, Raiffeisen Bank Investiții.
Panai Viorel.
Domnul Panait Viorel. Aveți un CNP? Perfect, mulțumesc frumos. COMVEX, vreți să vindeți dumneavoastră 40 de acțiuni?
Corect.
Și Nicola Ruxandra, unde dumneavoastră sunteți împuternicit,
Da.
vrea să cumpere 40 de acțiuni.
Așa vă facem.
Piața este 20.4 cu 20.5. Sugestia mea este să pun, pentru că este o piață cu nu este o piață continuă, pentru că așa se tranzacționează COMVEX-ul.
Da.
El se face doar prin auction-uri și se
Nu merge
decide
un
la un
cross.
moment dat. Nu pot să fac un cross pe de o parte, nici n-aș putea din cauza pieței pentru că nu-mi permite cotația. Este 20.4 cu 20.5. Sugestia mea este așa. Vă pun ordinul dumneavoastră la vânzare.
Da.
40 de acțiuni la 20.5.
Da.
Și o să introduc și ordinul doamnei la cumpărare, tot 40 de acțiuni la 20.5 și el o să execute, doamna o să cumpere 40 de acțiuni, dar va cumpăra 27 de acțiuni din piață și restul din ordinul dumneavoastră.
Da,
deci ăsta va cumpăra 40, dar dumneavoastră nu veți vinde 40, veți vinde mai puține.
E foarte bine. Și atunci am o diferență care rămâne acolo pentru o tranzacție ulterioară.
Bineînțeles, acțiunile dumneavoastră rămân la noi în continuare la
E
regulă.
o idee foarte bună și atunci luni concretizăm și altceva.
Mulțumesc frumos.
E perfect. Mulțumesc mult de
Bine,
tot.
la revedere.
Alo?
Să rămână, doamna
Bună
Drăguța
ziua.
Mihaela.
Da,
Mi comunicați și mie CNP-ul dumneavoastră pentru
Desigur.
preluare ordin?
E-
Da. Da.
Este,
Da. 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 Ok. Deci, conform discuției pe care am avut-o și când ați deschis contul, vreți să cumpărați 40 de acțiuni COMVEX, simbol
Da.
COMVEX,
Da.
la prețul de 20.4 RON per share.
da, e bine.
Ok,
Da.
acum piața este în pre-close, că este așa este piața asta, se deschide doar la ora 6.
Da.
Și dacă cumva modifică ceva, o să vă mai sun la 6 fără un minut, dacă e cazul să modificăm ordinul. Dacă nu, teoretic ordinul trebuie să se execute pentru că sunt 724 de acțiuni la vânzare, deci ar trebui să avem de unde să le cumpărăm.
Da.
Da?
Bine, e foarte
Ok.
bine. Da,
Bine, deci
vă mulțumesc.
e posibil să vă mai sun la 6 fără un minut sau 6
Sigur.
fără 2 minute.
Sigur.
Rugămintea mea e să aveți atunci telefonul la îndemână.
Sigur.
Mulțumesc frumos.
Bine, și eu vă mulțumesc.
La rămână. La revedere.
Bună ziua.
The first part has been cut out and the second part has been cut out. We only get, yes, I want to buy 40 shares. Well, we want to know what was said, what was the reason, who told that. What, before and after, why didn't you record that as well? And why didn't you record after? Why did you have to discuss with her after? So we want this, tapes, but this is what we have, which is okay for us at the moment. So DCOT closes the order, not even having looked at the voice recordings. What investigation have they done? When DCOT called me for an interview, I was there for 2 hours. The police officer was complaining of a headache. We started to write a document. She then said it was the wrong format. She left, came back. What she asked me was my name, my address. Do I understand the capital markets? Did I have anything else to say? And I said, yes, I want to speak to the prosecutor. I want to give evidence. That was it.
Again, simulating.
Yes, simulated, very. DNA, my complaint to DNA, which was from 2018, right? In February, the 8th of February 2022, they passed a prosecutor's order to close the file. In that prosecutor's order, DNA states, now if you want, I can give it to you word for word. These 4 people, between husband and wife and cohabitees, it is normal for them to discuss things. It's natural. Insider information for DNA is legal. Well, I mean, that's all I can read from it. My lawyers look at it as well. Overseas people have laughed at it. DCOT, in its investigation, what investigation have you done except look at the statements that these people have provided you? Again, it's pretend. It's pretend, right? So I'm appealing DCOT. I'm appealing DNA. Really, I don't know where I'm going to get with these people. It's going to be the same all the time. There are a lot of grounds there. There's a lot of evidence. But the power that be here is just pushing everybody to the side. I fight because, I want to fight for my rights. I do believe in justice. I hope that things are going to change because my court case will go for at least another 3 years. I'm hoping it changed in the last 3 years. It's been changing now, I think. And I think with the new things that are coming to Romania, I'm hoping that things will change for my benefit. And maybe I get some justice. Oh, one other thing. We signed all the documents on the 20th of December. They are now saying that those documents were signed all before.
You are also signing, and they said that they were signed before.
COMVEX never had a board of directors meeting, physical. Never called for a board of directors meeting. Don't have any call notice. Vera Panait and myself, in the space of 10 months, have 17 emails between us. This is while the capital increase was going on. This is while the negotiations for the loan was going on. I don't have a copy of the loan agreement. And by the way, the judge's order to produce the loan agreement, we still don't have it. Hasn't been produced in court. So, and why did Raiffeisen Bank sit on this voice recording for 6 years? Why?
Probably they didn't care, they wanted to protect, they knew they did something wrong. If you allow me one more question, because I didn't ask you about Mr. Dragoe relations or your relation if you met with Mr. Gheorghe Ionescu, Bebe Ionescu.
Yes.
how is the relation between Mr. Drăgoiu?
The years back, I like Bebe Ionescu. He's a nice guy. He's a gentleman. I like his family. When all of this happened, I can speak truthfully. When all of this happened, I had an apartment on the seaside, which I'd bought from Dan Drăgoiu, because that's another story. It's another trick. But anyway. But Bebe Ionescu had an apartment on the same block, and we would see each other on the beach. When I saw Bebe Ionescu, after all of this came out, Bebe said to me, he said, look, Ray, I'm sorry. I really am sorry, and I don't agree with it, but Dan's my friend. I said to Bebe, you know, I understand you. I pick my friends carefully. I understand you. And him and Bebe go back for many, many years. I mean, I remember when we were, I think it was Bebe Ionescu who introduced Vidianu to Dan Drăgoiu. Dan and Vidianu knew each other because I remember going to the marble place many, many years ago. And then I remember at Dan's birthday in Aquarium, that Vidianu, he was the mayor of Bucharest at the time, and he turned up, stayed an hour or so, but he turned up and Dan was very happy. And I think Bebe Ionescu was the contact there that brought him there. So I'm not too sure. But yes, and Mr. and Mrs. Vidianu both, I can't say anything wrong against them. Very nice. They've always treated me properly. Same as the other people around Dan. Yeah. That's it.
Thank you very much, Mr. De Rubeis, for this interview. Thank you.